morning Sentai super cartoony. Think of Power Rangers. I'm James, aka the Beard. I'm going to be Beard on today as I lead our illustrious food rangers through the rigmarole. This is the first time any of us have played this game, but we had an open spot and some open minds, and we threw some things out there, and everybody said, "Yeah, sure, I'll be a teenager with some crazy powers." And then we voted, and the vote came in food themed. So this will be menu mayhem. We're going to be kicking off here shortly. We had, I think we have one oversleeping high school senior, and we have one absent ranger, which we'll have to address. But I'll let everybody go around and introduce themselves. Maybe we'll hold off on what we're playing and just say what we've played so far for Extra Life while we wait for Joel to join us in, and then maybe what you're playing later or running, Cassandra, because we're food buddies. Okay.
Do you want me to go
Alright.
first?
Sure, yeah, why not? Alphabetical order or something.
I don't know. I was like, you're saying my
didn't even-
name, and it's sort of a segue, I guess.
I'm not on the stream yet.
Oh no.
Sorry, I don't know what window order I'm in. No.
Oh,
I haven't looked either, so I wouldn't even know. I'm just guessing.
It's like I'm
Um,
so used to going by window order
yeah, right.
Yeah.
that I was actually like, I had a legit pang of anxiety. I know it's hard to believe that I was just like, oh shit. That's sort of like I forgot a test feeling.
Yeah. And I don't know, so I'm just gonna go first and say I'm there. I don't know. Who knows? I'm Cassandra. So far I've only played one game, but I do have a bunch coming up. I run only doing Extra Life ever. That's the only thing I do. It's for the kids. So
Can't say that.
it's just true. No. I got like a real sweet homebrew idea coming up. I don't want to say anything in case anyone's watching yet, because there's a little bit of there's a twist. So
Twist.
I'm real excited about it. But I got that coming up and much more D&D. I think I'm playing Snakes on a Plane on Sunday. So I'm really hoping that they put a disclaimer on that one, because there's going to be a lot of MFers being dropped. I think you have to.
Yeah, you don't want to get those Twitch strikes.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see, or if we're gonna have to somehow
just say Mother Lovin'.
censor. There you go. We'll say Mother Lovin'.
enough.
We'll
Honestly,
see how it goes.
I think if you got a TMCA strike for invoking Sam L. Jackson so powerfully that like some algorithm was like, they're playing Snakes on a Plane on that channel. Copyright strike.
See
That would
what
be
happens.
amazing.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
I don't know
your
what
goal. You should work on it.
I don't know what Christy has up her sleeve, but it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, got things going.
She was the villain last night, so
Yeah, she was.
be
Was
ready.
she really?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
A villain.
She didn't
There are
know that she
multiple
was the villain until her memory came back, though.
It's pretty good.
It was a twist for herself. It was great.
It was. It was
a pretty
very
good twist.
Very twisty game.
Got banished. Nate got banished.
Yeah, I cast banish and it worked, Cassandra.
It worked.
It's the first time literally I've ever banished somebody.
Nate rolled a 1 in charisma was my dump stat.
There's always at least one of those.
Mm-hmm. I liked that game. I was proud. I felt like I brought 8 charisma to life.
You did. You were the epitome of 8 charisma, my friend. I could not have been more proud. Nate, I think you're the next in my oh yeah, you had good disappointed dad energy.
Big dad energy.
You would make Clark proud.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, Nate, what or Cassandra, what's your favorite game that you've played in so far?
I've only played the one, but that was,
well,
it was one of those things where
it's easy to pump up Ben's ego then.
I know. But it was also one of those games like, okay, superhero games, and it took me, I think, until maybe like Thursday before I really had an idea what the character was. But then once I kind of put it into place, I was like, yes, this is perfect. And it just all kind of, I don't know. The group really played really well together last night.
It was a really good group, for sure.
But Ben was like,
Yeah.
boy, I sure hope everyone had fun. I was like, you
Of
broke
course they did.
Ryan. Everyone had fun. You got Ryan to crack, so
That's true.
we're good.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
It was
been
a great game.
I think it had a really interesting, simple premise behind the actual like rolling and whatnot that it kind of made it just left it more open for a lot more role playing, which was
Mhm.
not normally my jam, but I'm always working on it, so it's good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Well, and I was in 3 games yesterday. Started off with
Dang,
Dino
son.
World with Zach.
So many.
I know he's running it again, so just in
Wow.
case folks are watching, I won't give too much away. But we were sent to Dino World, which is definitely not Jurassic Park,
Definitely not.
in search of a gnome artificer named Nedry. So it was a good time. Hijinks ensued. I was a College of Swords bard named Maximus Minimus.
Nice.
Oh, that was great.
That's a great
lovely.
name. That's a great name.
It was a character Zach made, so it was not min-maxed, but I couldn't not do that for a gladiator. So
That's really good, dude.
One More Job was the next game I played. That was probably the most fun. Just the characters and the weird concepts were perfect.
It's bonkers.
I mean, maybe sometimes you summon a train.
Maybe sometimes you summon a train. Maybe that's the only thing you can do in a situation.
I told people about that this
Or
morning
any
on
situation.
Dave's stream, and he was like, and I think somebody actually also asked, wait, so when they summon the train, do they also summon the tracks? Which
No.
They
is
do not.
No, but you do obviously summon the people who are riding the train.
Yes.
I
So what you need
I
to
was
do-
really impressed by how interested in the lore
Mechanics,
of this very stupid
yes.
power. They're like,
Yes.
wait a minute, now let's just talk physics. All right.
My brain actually, like when you were talking about it, was like, so is the government mad because they have to fly all these people back all the time?
No, they just live there now. There's a
just-
whole
Yeah, there was a Harvard
whole,
study about my
yeah.
single-handed
live there.
repopulation of the country and the demographic shift that has resulted.
We did. I did tell them about the Santa Fe Transit Museum. So good.
That makes my eyes water. It's so funny.
Yes. And then my last game, of course, was Dying Embers of Drakewind Falls, which was also good. It's hard to beat One More Job, but
No,
the
it's
twist
not.
at the end,
It wasn't very
good
funny.
stuff.
That
No.
was a different tone. For
Yes.
sure.
I felt really bad because I had everything kind of worked out. It all started because Christy was running low on time, and so she was like, "Yeah, I'll pay for you to build me a character." So I built this character, and I was like, "Oh, she'll be one of the elders of the village." And then yesterday, as I was like getting the last things kind of put together, I had something different in mind, and then I was like, man, what happens if like there's this kind of like amnesia thing going on, and she remembers these like flashbacks throughout, and I was like, okay, this will be great. There'll be a flashback kind of like every like act. And then at the end, I was like, oh, like she's going to remember that there's this thing that happened, and then there'll be this big fight. And then I was like, what if I swap her as being the big bad with the big bad that gets revealed because she can't remember the big bad as the big bad? I think it would have worked out really well, but I think Christy had to play some of it off her phone and her computer. And so when I sent her level 20 version of her character, that I was like, feel free to wreck shop on everybody, you're really the big bad guy. It took a long time to like get it set up, so there's a lot of kind of like there's a lot of pause. I think if that would have been immediate, it would have been like, oh, and instead it was kind of like, wait a second. I think Joel asked twice. Wait a second. So is she attacking
So wait,
us, or is she attacking
Who's
the bad
making
guy?
saving throws right
Yeah.
now? Is it?
Who's my new friend?
Sounds like
Who are the new
there's just the one cloaked figure, but you're saying these things in a plural.
friends? So good.
I really liked the sort of story mechanic of parsing the story out via like amnesiac narrative. That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's props. I ran part of something from a module. There's a couple modules that I draw from. Usually, like when I get an idea for Extra Life, I just like go and support some people on DM's Guild and just kind of read through the modules and try to kind of farm some ideas into what I'm doing. And that mechanic for the flashbacks was from that, and I just thought that was such a cool, just such a cool way to work your way um, through a storyline. Um, um, the module that kind of mechanic came from was called Into the Dragon's Maw, um,
Mm.
and
Is that why the cave
it's
was called that?
yes, yes.
Using
And
my keen adventuring skills.
if you want to check it out, Dragonix, Dragonix is the author, and you can pick it up on the DM's Guild. And it's got this really
Mm.
great illustration by Sanderson Gonzaga on the front of like a white dragon peering out with these like super. They kind of look like um, when they did like close up illustrations of General Grievous, where you could like see the kind of like flesh underneath the like cybernetics
Mm.
from Star Wars. It just looks like super creepy, and it's got like really piercing blue eyes. So very cool. Check it out, Dragonix on DM's Guild. But yeah, I don't know. Nate, what was your character's name again in One More Job?
Oh, so originally he or his actual name was Mark Jacobs. No, not that Mark Jacobs. He wanted to be called the Renaissance Man because he could do everything, make all the things, but everybody just called him fucking MacGyver. And I probably shouldn't be swearing that early
It
because
was
I'm
just
not
no.
in Snakes on a
They just
Plane.
called him MacGyver, not
Yes,
fucking
they just called him
MacGyver.
MacGyver.
Fucking
That's cool.
MacGyver.
That would be
Um,
a great character. They won't. I get bleeped every time they mention my name on the news. No one knows who I am.
And then when he was sent to witness protection, they, for some reason, got the bright idea to call him Palmer Studstrip.
Which, when you finally got out your stud strip like
That was
pun
so good.
joke, I was like, that's premium Nate content right there.
It was very good.
I mean, that wasn't planned ahead of time. I'm like, okay, there's a truck, so I got to do this, right?
I mean,
Okay, that makes it
obviously.
even better, Nate. I
Obviously.
feel like I should donate to you just for making that clear to us. Oh, that's some good stuff. Also, I don't know what Joel's character is, so I'm just saying Joel, aka Biff McLarge Huge.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Reasonable.
You can check out all the links to our players, myself, and we'll have the Known World on there as well, because Known World has all of our schedule up on it right now. We are currently sitting at the number 66 team in
Hey,
all
look at
of
us.
fundraising. So
That's crazy.
In all of fundraising, worldwide,
yes,
universe,
ever.
spanning in the history of time.
Um,
All in one day.
team,
What have those billionaires been up to? Better.
They're all in space.
Are all in space.
they're all
But you always
in
know
space.
the numbers are hard to stay when actual, now that actual calendar game day is here. But man, that makes me happy that we broke 100 this year at least at one point in time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing. So yeah, if you're out there watching, we're gonna get going here. Oh, here he is. Oh, Joel, how are you
Hey,
feeling,
it's
buddy? How's the back?
Joel.
I feel like my facial expression probably says it all.
Perfect.
Looking tired already.
But if you're on the stream and you can throw some money around, donate to Joel, donate to Warrior, donate to Nate. Let's help them reach their goals. I know Nate and Joel, you're within a hundo. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Very close.
Warrior, you're also live, I think, carrying this in addition to Known World United. Yeah, maybe?
Probably. I think I host Known World when.
I see the little like live, and you look like a correspondent getting high fived by a bear on the Known World page, which makes me happy to no end.
All of my icons have bears. Inanimate bears that I'm harassing.
I was gonna say, I mean, whatever.
Maybe they're
it's good.
harassing you.
They weren't. I was there. I know how it went down.
True story.
True story.
And so, thanks
You gotta
also.
be faster.
Thanks also to my brother Diamond Dave, who has been holding it down all night long from 5 p.m. yesterday to 5 p.m. today. Stopped by his stream at some point. I had a chance to hop on for a couple hours this morning from 6 to 8, and it was lovely. I got to unbox a bunch of toys, including my brand new Appa. He's so happy!
He's
So
so
good.
cute.
That's very cute.
Reminds me of one of your puppies.
Yes, as well as this beautiful clone armor Obi-Wan and
Hello there.
a couple others that I've been saving for extra life. This also incredibly happy Appa. Yip yip. Yeah, Joel. We've just introduced ourselves and the games that we played or are playing in and favorite moments so far, and then we'll hop into some Henshin after your introduction here.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm Joel. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Finger
Joel.
Twitchings.
This is my introduction.
Oh wait, are we doing? You mean for
No, not for
Henshin?
the game. Nope, just introducing
Just
yourself.
in general.
What games you've played so far in Extra Life? Any favorite moments and like something you're looking forward to?
Yeah,
We're just going around
turn-ons,
shooting.
turn-offs.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your sign?
I like long walks around the lake,
Nice.
and PDAs are okay.
Nice.
Played Dino World yesterday.
Nice.
Got in on some Jackbox games while it worked. That was odd.
Sorry, friends.
The fickleness of the giant disproportional wheel was very pleasing because I sucked at that game and all of a sudden was winning and was like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. We did the Drawful Animate, which is kind of cool.
That's great.
Played Drakewind Falls last night, where there were 3 jerks.
Jerks.
Wait, who's the third jerk? Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Made the list. Oh no.
You're really calling out that Drake.
That was rough.
Yeah, the
Nikola
bearded
Tesla.
Drake.
Although anytime you can launch an exploding arrow through a fortifications arrow slit and kill a couple goblins, life is good.
That was a pretty sweet shot. I forgot that was was that your arcane archer? The build?
So the explosion was arcane archer.
Okay.
The shot was just Cody's really good with the bow. Yeah, what's coming up today? Henshin?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What's going on? What are we doing?
Where am I?
Oh yeah. Why did you bring us here?
Where'd this train come from?
Where'd this train come from? I know where the train came from. Tee-hee.
Where'd the tracks go?
There's no tracks.
You need to find a guy or person who can make some tracks, and you're golden.
Yeah, be a real dynamic duo.
That's right.
There's gotta be a 1990s like villain just named Trax with two X's.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably not like a comic book. Probably like on Ninja Turtles or something.
Yes. Oh god, that's good. So
or Power Rangers.
Hey. We can't have it on can't have it on tone or we'll get a copyright strike.
Beep bop boop burp beep boop
Bleep blorp.
Wasn't that the McDonald's one?
Now we've gotten in trouble with something far worse than
it's even
fandom.
worse.
No. Oh god.
They're even larger of a corporate entity.
So you can see the description of the game
Loving
in the chat. But essentially, Henshin is a Sentai RPG. Sentai is essentially Japanese team. Think Power Rangers, VR Troopers, all of the various Saturday morning or after school Bandai and what is the production
Namco?
company? No, the production company that does all of the Power Rangers. Anyway, we voted on playing a certain type, and as I said right as we kicked off, the Rangers that we have, our Sentai is a food-based Sentai. So across Earth, food has started biting back, and the United Nations responded by creating the Paranormal Culinary Disaster Division, tasking a food squad of masked heroes to quell this combative cuisine. Citizens across the world know these color-coded champions, though their true identities remain secret as the squad deploys from their space station base to address the latest edible emergency. But what is the true source of paranormal culinary disasters? Why do they keep linking back to the disgraced United Nations ambassador, Frau Dijon? And what is revealed to be the UN's true motives once the squad starts cooking up their own plans rather than merely following orders? So this is a really kind of interesting collaborative storytelling game. There's no dice rolling. Everybody has a playbook that they're playing through, and they've all created their own characters and alter egos to go along. And so this is essentially going to run like a episode of a Sentai TV show. So I'm kind of acting as the narrator and to kind of keep things moving along. But basically, this is a kind of a give and take where they have some kind of characteristic objectives, and then they are attempting to achieve those by kind of taking turns, small ones, large ones, and then as narrator, I kind of respond to those. If we were all in person, we would have these amazing Henshin cards that are nice and colorful. I love them, and they have beautiful little Henshin guys on the back. Cobra, my favorite one, cell phone right here that looks like a Nokia phone.
I remember them from Jackbox.
There's also these are two of my other ones, Strawberry and Giraffe.
Giraffe is amazing.
Giraffe is so
Nice.
so good.
Josh, pretty good.
But yeah. Oh, there's also Credit, which I like, is like a little like credit swiper.
Wow.
But
Is that American Express?
no, because it's accepted everywhere.
Ooh.
Oh, hey. So everybody's thought a little bit about and chosen a playbook that's based on the kind of color typologies of the Sentai television series. So maybe we'll go around, introduce just ourselves and just what color you're playing and what your character's name is. And then we'll jump into the episode. Cassandra,
start?
you are.
I'm
tonight.
sorry, I don't even have the stream up still, so I forgot what order we're in again. I'm Cassandra. I am playing the. Are we calling them Rangers? Green Ranger?
Yeah, whatever you want to
Ranger?
call it.
I'm playing the Green Ranger. And I just had to go on theme, so I'm calling her Emmy, which is short for Emerald.
Ooh,
Nice.
very nice. Jay?
All right. I am Jay Nanner, the Blue Ranger. Do we want to talk about our backgrounds or just get into that as we play?
Well, yeah, we can get into that as we play.
All right.
Wasn't me. These windows keep moving. You've been moving windows on me.
Yeah.
I'm Warrior. I am playing the black non-specific powered hero. My character's name is Owen. I'm not giving you my last name because I'm a minor and I'm not giving out more identifiers on the internet.
And last but not least, Joel.
I'm going to be the Orange Ranger. New kid at school. Nobody knows much about him, but he seems really cool.
Yes, no.
His name's Cassidy.
Ooh, I like it. So,
He,
as we mentioned, to kind of set the stage, we zoom in to a what we call the master kitchen. This is where the space station that's orbiting the planet, known as STEW, Sustainable Terminal for Ecological Well-being, is. And you see Beardon approaching, but he does have his beard in a nice hairnet to keep anything from falling off. And he
Appreciate you.
is searching for his squad and where they are right now. And one of the squad members is currently missing. We'll call her Cassie. We recognize that there is a paranormal culinary disaster that is impending, and so he is looking to call his squad together. Along with his affable android that lives on Stew and reports to Beardon server SRVR. He is generally distressed as
Sorry,
it. Yes.
quick clarifying question. I think Owen would know this, having had a longer relationship with these fellows than I have. When you say powered by Stew, is server like just there? Like, is it sort of a destination of that, or is like Stew the food his power source?
Um.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get a grasp on the technology of this new landing.
Yes.
I've
Good
heard
to
it both
know.
ways.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
That cleared things up. Thank you.
Server is the android that, when you were first called by Beardon, distributed your spice jars, which is how trans transform into your Super Sentai versions. You can either shake some spice out into your hand and throw it over your shoulder. You can do the Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. Whatever you guys do, and I'll have you explain that as we go along. But I thought maybe we could go around the room again and talk a little bit about what your Super Sentai forms are that correspond with your color. Emmy?
Did we ever determine if we have like our form and a combined form or just our form?
You will have a combined form. It the description that they use, which I think is fantastic, and maybe you all can respond to, is your mechs combine into an ultimate form that is full-bodied, succulent, and charred. Um,
Full-bodied succulent.
they also have color aesthetics that we could choose from, but I know that some of you have kind of jumped on what your kind of food form is. The ones that they suggest are pickle, dumpling, kebab, pastry, and soup.
Soup.
Yes. Soul satisfying and nourishing, this squad member humbly offers a sharp dose of medicine should others care to stomach the taste. Um,
Trying to imagine what a soup mech would look like.
this, this says suit detail. They have a suit detail, a weapon, a mech, and a named attack. For soup, the suit detail is enameled cast iron shoulder pad. The weapon is a ladle shaped lance. The mech is a nourishing hovercraft. And the named attack is Bitter Breaker. So if you guys want to choose color aesthetics, I can let you know about that. Or if you have your own kind of mech aesthetic or kind of details about what your transformed squad look is, we can describe those now.
I think for me, I kind of pictured her mech being sort of broccoli-like,
Nice.
like the hands being like florets, and so like maybe not and not as much of a like have a weapon, but like she gets these big round things on the ends of her hands that she can beat things with.
Yes.
And if I had to have a special power, I think I'd call it Daily Fiber.
I love it. What do you look like when you transform into your Super Sentai form?
Like in our uniform, or like what do you mean?
Yeah. What the uniform looks like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
We can think about it.
Yeah, you come back to me.
All right.
I'll think about that one.
Jay?
All right. I had to think for a second. I was like, oh, that's me.
Sorry.
So my mech, let's see, virtual background, and it disappeared, so I got to add it. Where did it go? Is this? It is a rare blue nanner. So that is my mech. I have a banana boomerang as my weapon.
Nice.
As my suit, I didn't think about that, which is probably something I should have done. Let's see, we're in the kitchen here. So you can come back to me for that.
All right.
We're just going to put a lot of stuff in the parking lot here. We're never going
Owen.
to get back to it. Yeah, Owen is okay. So we're describing us. Okay, Owen is his mech is it's a black licorice vibe, and kind of like Owen, it's not for everybody, but like it's honestly made itself the backbone of snacking culture, inarguably, particularly in Europe, Northern Europe. And he has a whip that is sort of like looks like a big black licorice because it's on theme. Like it doesn't have to be like a hard design question. They were like, what kind of weapon do you want? I'm like, licorice is like a whip. Just make me a whip. Stupid, And then so he forms the spine, I feel like, of the combined form. There's the black licorice that goes up back, and then his suit is very like it's very like Super Sentai suit, but it's got like sort of as detail like around the arms and legs and around the torso. It's got like those ridges like on a piece of black licorice, so it's got a sort of like ridged appearance to it.
Nice.
That's all of my things. You don't have to come
back. Okay. Sounds good. Is the New York slipping in because that's how Owen talks, or is that just a byproduct? Okay.
This is how Owen talks.
I didn't know if it was a byproduct of
I also really like this accent. I did use it once this weekend, so I probably would be slipping it anyway. But this is legit how Owen talks.
All right.
He's an exchange student from Brooklyn.
And finally, Cassidy.
My mech looks like that.
Nice.
It's basically a giant orange. And one of the only mechs I think that features denim.
Yes.
It's very resilient.
It can form one of the legs of a super mech that can deliver powerful but very slow kicks. And yeah.
And what does Cassidy look like when they transform?
He's right there.
Nice.
So again, like an orange and denim theme. His suit actually has an inset of a photo of him wearing another suit with a chest inset of a photo of him. and so on.
Little Inception.
Beautiful.
I very much own that shirt, and I actually thought about wearing it. And I was like, no, gonna wear the color of my suit. But I had it. It's white. It's
Doing
so
some-
good. It's
doing
so
some
good.
cosplay here.
Yeah, I would have worn an orange shirt, except I don't own an
The
orange
one's
shirt.
an orange shirt, yeah.
Does anybody own? I mean, aside
I have
from
an orange shirt.
John Cena from 15 years ago.
I have several orange shirts.
Yeah.
I do.
I feel like someone in the group has an orange heel turn shirt, but I don't remember who.
Gene, I think, has the orange
Is it
one.
Gene have the orange one? I was like, someone
Yeah.
did, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Interstellar Professional Wrestler Space Monkey has several orange
Oh.
shirts.
This one, I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So I'll peek into my wardrobe here early in the morning. Enjoyed it. I'm
All
actually
right.
wearing a Space Monkey shirt under this.
Nice.
So,
Good one.
if you guys could all additionally maybe identify some of the pieces from your playbook that you have introduced or are kind of connected to, one of the things that goes along with Henshin as a game is each of the players, depending on their color, have a number of things that they kind of work towards. We're essentially kind of narrating slash directing an episode of a kind of Super Sentai Saturday morning cartoon, so that they'll all have a number of things, tasks which they can work towards and give them storyline threads. And then the game is based around turns. So not necessarily just kind of taking turns, but the ability to kind of do regular tasks and then to kind of power up. So they'll each have a number of regular turns, actions that they can always take, light turns, which will allow them to gain a token if we were all hanging out together. So we'll just have to keep track of that. And when you make a light turn and gain a token, you are then able to spend a token to make a heavy turn, which is essentially some kind of super heroic things. The idea that we are telling this narrative that's give and take. So in the midst of everything that they're doing, they'll be making these regular turns and then choose to kind of narrate something that maybe makes them vulnerable, and then that allows them to have this kind of heroic turn. Also, there's a special turn for each color. And when that special turn happens, which is usually narrative driven in interacting with either enemies or allies, you can gain a token when that happens. And that's something you can just keep track of on your own. And then eventually, if you're to run this as an entire arc, or you can run a season, there's kind of the way to set it up for that. You can essentially kind of raise up in terms of your power and standing as you kind of move through the season, so that there's these kind of developing character arcs. But maybe if everybody wants to share, something that they kind of are thinking about in terms of their regular turns, or share your regular turns, so that we can kind of think a little bit about that before we hop into the episode, that'd be awesome.
Go first, since it was me all the time. So I think one of my regular turns that I actually find really interesting is I get to react by taking temporary cover. I feel like Emmy is new and maybe still kind of getting the whole like trying to learn to be brave kind of hero situation, but then I also have a regular turn. This is display eccentric fighting technique, so
Ooh,
I'm excited to see how that one's going to play out because I haven't decided what it is yet. I think it could be fun though.
nice. Jay?
What's your special turn?
My special turn.
Oh, no.
Oh
No?
no! Don't
No.
tell.
Ooh,
We don't tell each other
Spoilers.
special turns.
Spoilers.
Special
Never
Spoiler
turns.
boy over
mind.
here.
Special turns happen organically. Otherwise, you guys could just be triggering each other's special turns all the time. No, Nate.
Man, I was trying to
I
get the
must
spoilers
Dikembe
going.
Mutombo
Really.
you.
I mean, yeah, I pulled out my notes and I was ready to write that stuff down. All right, so
How
When your regular
to
turns is
buff
like exploit your teammates
fellow.
for tokens.
it is
Um,
pointing out the obvious to another and pinpointing an adversary's weakness. So that's
Tomato, tomato.
yeah. And then probably my task will be to prove that brain trumps brawn.
classic blue. Love it. Owen?
Yeah, I mean, regular turns, I feel like Owen is very take action, leaving yourself vulnerable. It's very just, sort of charge into it. So I think that falls in line with display reckless fighting technique as well. Try to protect someone in need. There's usually a reason, but he'll always just go in there anyway. Because he's like, even if I don't understand the reason yet, it'll come to light later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get myself into position here. Task, I would say that um, his task is to uh, oblige himself to others, even if he will let them down.
Aw. Excellent. And finally, lastly but not leastly, Cassidy.
I think a fairly normal task for him is going to be to remind the squad normal, everyday fun.
Nice. BEA.
And if he has a task, it's probably to defy the expectations of who can be a hero.
Oh. That fills me with great happiness and pride. All right, so we zoom in on a normal kind of everyday. Is that a home ec classroom behind you, Jay? Or is that a
It's
cafeteria? I can't
That
tell.
is the kitchen we were meeting in on the space station.
Oh, space station kitchen. All right. Well, then we will start off. We will start off on Stu. You are all teleported up from your bed. Some of you more awake than others.
Checks out.
And Server is waiting there for you, and he's quite distressed because uh, sandwiches across the nation have started biting back simultaneously in New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. And he says, we're in quite a pickle to handle multiple threats. Well, our fifth squad member is incapacitated with COVID-19.
Oh wow, that's really real. That's very
Topical.
real.
I thought you were going to go with crabs or
Is
Oh, damn.
so
It's a
so
Saturday
something
morning
food-related.
cartoon.
sorry when you say
Food-related. Crabs.
Yeah,
sorry
she has a
when
seafood
server says
allergy.
we're in a real pickle, is that a euphemism or is stew shaped like a space pickle?
No,
Fair enough.
stew is shaped like a large souffle,
Oh, all right.
a space souffle.
That explains why the ceilings get lower as the day goes on.
Christy, I had to say something. I had to do something. It'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Off the
Yes.
rails already, where's American Express?
We need a fifth member of the squad. Owen's got a friend. His name is
Yeah.
Denunzio.
My Uncle Banksy.
He helps all the food going down by going choo choo.
That was really good.
Thank
Proud of
you. Here comes the
I like it.
train. Open
real good.
up.
Choo choo really works as like a double entendre.
Thank you. So yeah, Server says that it seems like They are being handled by New Yorkers biting back when the sandwiches bite back, but simultaneously in Philadelphia and San Francisco, there's an outbreak, and they both need to be quelled. So he says his perfect catchphrase, "Mamma mia, what will we do?" Because he can't say "ay ay ay," even though "ay ay ay" is my favorite part of Power Rangers. Ay ay ay. So yeah, he Beardon lets you know that you'll need to split the squad in two to address this sandwich um, attack. So Philadelphia and San Francisco, and he
Dude, what are you
says
talking about? We can't split the party.
this isn't a party. There are no reservations here, Owen.
Well, if we're gonna split the party, it's a good thing we've got a top banana.
What are you talking about?
So you guys can narrate as much of this as you want. Like there's a kind of loose format, and I'm essentially kind of the narrator or director. But we're going to be telling this pretty collaboratively. So I'll give you prompts, but then you will all essentially kind of dictate how this story goes. So um, what would your squad do in response to some of this happening?
All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and take a regular turn. Um, there's 3 cities. There's only 4 of us. How are we going to split into these 3 cities effectively?
Server lets you know that the New Yorkers are not taking this lying down,
Yeah,
but
they
that
aren't.
but that Philadelphia and San Francisco are in need of our immediate assistance.
All right, that's fair.
2 and 2, we could do it.
It's just wild to me that like we're already down a squad member, and now everyone's like, hey, we should just let's just be 2. Like that's wild. That is reckless behavior. I'm into it. Let's do it.
Well, that was a twist I wasn't expecting there.
All right, so server asks where he should send you, or where they should send you, rather.
All right. Well, send me to Philly. Let's take care of those cheesesteaks.
Yeah, I'm going to Philly. I
All
know
right.
Philly. I've been to Philly one time on a field trip to a museum.
Going to
So-
San Fran, they appreciate the greens out there.
They had sandwiches at the museum, so that's probably relevant.
Cassidy, will you also be going to San Francisco, or are you going to be hanging back on Stu, or
I'm gonna take a light turn
okay?
to just huh?
Oh God damn it! Those
What?
donuts you ordered.
What are we doing?
So when you do take your light turn, make sure to take your token so you know that you have that. I'll just give you a virtual token. Pow.
Woo.
Shoop. Um,
Hey, you know what, Cassidy? Let me take that burden off your shoulders there, buddy. Why don't you just go to San Francisco with Emmy here?
Oh, we're going to San Francisco.
Yeah, you're doing that.
Okay.
Great, take my token.
all right. So server goes over to his command center, which looks a lot like a really top tier stovetop, like a gas stovetop, and he starts to turn the
Don't touch the
knobs.
burner, server. It's hot. I saw a commercial about this.
And he basically like sets all of these different things up, and it looks like the displays of an oven, like he's setting baking temperatures.
You are
and
crazy
then
robot.
and then he says, all right, squad, eat up. And he hits the button, and
Is that how we get
Jay
dismissed?
and Owen are sent
You
to
agree to this?
Philadelphia, and Emmy and Cassidy are sent to San Francisco. When you touch down in San Francisco, you see that there are a number of giant gluten-free um, uh, um, grilled aubergine sandwiches that are running everywhere. They have watercress and a mix of arugula with light kind of vinaigrette arms, like whipping out and spraying innocent bystanders as they continue to kind of dominate. They're rolling kind of large pieces of feta cheese down the hills of San Francisco, taking out streetcars as you touch down in your human form.
Sorry, in your cumin form.
I said human, but cumin is very funny. I don't have inspiration to give, but it's quite
I'll take
good.
another token. Good job. Man.
All right, Emmy,
Volunteer
Cassidy,
himself.
what are you all doing?
Well, I mean, we just gotta get in there and fight, huh? Squish these things.
Although, aren't they already?
Squishy.
I mean, there are. Aren't we just going to change the problem into panini?
That's a good question. How do you stop a sandwich? We maybe should have figured that out before we left. We could just start a huge fire and throw them in it.
Holy crap!
I mean,
Sure, this ain't one more job.
this reminds me of a similar problem a long time ago with a fellow named Lam, and he was fond of solving problems with fire.
Just think, could rig up a bonfire on the beach and say it was supposed to happen that way. Start kicking them into the fire.
I mean, if it
You're
doesn't
good at
work,
kicking.
if it doesn't work, we're on the beach.
Not a terrible time. I say let's try it.
All right. So you kind of run off with Cassidy kind of loafing behind out towards the nearest beach. Jay and Owen, when you touch down in Philadelphia, you are greeted by not only a number of sandwiches, but a giant, part human, part hamburger that is barking orders at what look to be large, golden brown, cylindrical menaces coasting around on cooking oil. This is General Patty Melt and his skater tots, wreaking havoc upon the cheesesteaks of Philadelphia.
And as we teleport in, I'll never get used to this.
Or make a Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
Don't
Wrong
throw up.
game.
If you throw up,
You're gonna throw up, and then it's a whole thing.
it's a whole thing. It's pretty gross, actually. I'm gonna use a. I want to take a regular turn and do that thing where you like you land and then you look and there's this hellscape in front of you, and so you're like, I better duck behind a mailbox. So
Yes.
we're gonna I'm gonna grab hold of Jay and be like, we gotta hide behind this mailbox while we make a plan. I learned this in cadet training.
So as you do that, you hide behind, and you see the general instructing his skater tots to wreak havoc until the last cheese has been whizzed. We
Oh,
will
you can't say
burn
that.
this. We will burn this town to the ground.
This is Saturday morning. I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna be able to address this problem as as average teenagers. We may. I think we're gonna need to. Need to. I think we need to transform when danger has appeared. Are you? You got your spices on you? Did you bring your little to-go kit? Did you
Oh yeah, I never forget it. I'll pull out my
bug out
little
bag?
blue spice and transform.
What is your spice, Jay?
Really, I gotta pick a blue spice. Apparently there is a blue spice basil.
Oh,
Yeah.
I assumed it was gonna be Cool Ranch Dorito.
He's like.
Come on.
Oh, what?
He's like, yeah,
You gonna come on me?
he's like, yeah, Jay, bust out your weird basil, and we're gonna take this general down specifically.
Specifically. All right. What is what is your spice? And
Close.
yes. And what do you guys do to transform? What's your like specific like when you unleash the spice? What does it look like? I know that sounds like it's like a Dune module.
So Owen, every time Owen like reaches into his he always has like a hoodie on. So he like reaches into his hoodie pocket and he's like, it's still there, good, it didn't fall out in transport. And then he's like, all right, let's do this. And he's like, what oh, and then like the spice like falls on the ground and a little bit of like lid pops off and a little bit of clove falls out. He's like, poof.
Oh man. Okay, excellent. So you make yourself known in a flurry of maybe accidental spice as the
Accidental on purpose.
yeah, as the blue and black squad members. Um, and you are confronted by a host of skater tots gliding about on thin sheens of cooking oil that have been mopped about town. Um, they are going to take some regular turns. Um, uh, and you see the skater tots flying around you, and they're starting to surround you. And you see Dan, Mark Bitters, whatever. That's beautiful. They start to create a cloud of dust that begins to seep into your squad helmets, and you can tell that this is some sort of Cajun seasoning.
It's
It
Tony
burns your eyes.
Shaziers. It's burning my eyes.
Um,
Zatarans.
Zatarans. All right. Let's swap back to San Francisco. Emmy and Cassidy, you are on the beach preparing a large bonfire.
Hmm.
Um, as you are doing so, you see that the kind of giant sandwiches are beginning to make their way toward you. They've noticed that something is going on the beach, and they are drawn to it as only an ungrilled Sammy can be.
I feel like I would do like a Pied Piper thing. Like I would go run out to the nearest one and then try to get them to follow me back, which is one of my eccentric fighting techniques.
Nice. So they begin to follow after you. They've taken the bait and they are moving kind of down and out towards the Golden Gate Bridge, where you have started to set up all of your um, sweet fire with the beautiful visage of Sausalito just across the bay.
we have like headsets? You think?
Do you have headsets?
Like, I feel like we should have headsets so we can communicate, Cassidy. Like, we have headsets and be like, "I'm bringing them. Get ready to kick them into the fire."
Yes.
I love the idea that like you just like lean in. So Emmy, you are luring them back. You are still in your human form, so they just think that you are a tasty morsel that they would like to eat. Cassie, you are here.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the ocean. I'm not gonna lie. I've kind of forgotten about the sandwiches, and this is a pretty chill, terrific place.
So while you are standing there, um, slowly behind you, rising out from the beach, there are kind of terrible figures that begin to manifest themselves with
Oh no,
long.
there's sandwiches.
Damn it. Yes, they are. They are sandwiches. Oh man, I couldn't even get it out. Yes, they are. They are. They appear to be witches made entirely of sand, and they are slowly beginning to surround you. Emmy, you are running back with sandwiches in tow, trying to let Cassidy know what is going on as you are about to be engulfed. And we cut back to Philadelphia, where our blue and black squad counterparts are being assaulted by a sandstorm of Tony Sacheries.
This is very spicy.
It is. I'm going to construct something dangerous
Ooh.
and take a
What are you making
token.
over there? It looks really dangerous.
So I'm going to make basically a giant fan using my banana boomerang and try to blow the spice back at them.
Oh. Well, you don't have to try. You can just tell me what happens, brother.
All right. Well, I've got the. I'll use the mailbox for hiding behind. Construct kind of a stand for the banana fan blade that is my weapon, and then just attach a little motor I have because I've got things like that. And then it'll start spinning around, blow the spice back at them, and then it'll kind of break a little bit, and the banana fan blade will spin at them.
Whew. Beautiful.
That's
Um,
beautiful. You're beautiful.
So as that flies at them, you see that the general Patrick Melt is beginning to um, run down Oak Street away from the fight while his skater tots are distracting you. Um, Owen, you don't see this yet, but Jay, you can either continue your banana rang uh, barrage or chase after the general.
So I will use a regular turn to take action, leaving myself vulnerable and just run after him.
Nice.
But okay, I'm surrounded by skater tots.
They're spicy though.
They are spicy.
Yep.
It's zesty. Uh, Owen is going to display a reckless fighting technique, and he's going to take a quick look at his surroundings, and he is going to climb the famed steps, use his whip to launch himself up atop the Rocky statue, and then he's going to jump off of the Rocky statue onto one of the skater tots and like ride it around and like sort of pinball all the other skater tots out of the way. Like I'm on like the most coated in Cajun seasoning skater tot. I'm just just zesting them off the planet. Yeah.
Awesome. So what happens when you light upon them?
So I'm going to spend a heavy. I'm going to spend a token to do a heavy turn, and I'm
Ooh.
going to clear the way of adversaries during a brawl. So just I feel like this is a successful venture. The skater tots don't know what hit them, then they kind of like are flying away, and they're like, "Oh, that was another one of us." And then, but like through fortune, they of course are sort of to a degree congregating after the general. So like as he's clearing the way, he's sort of unintentionally following his buddy Jay toward the general.
Beautiful. Also, this goes for everybody. If you could please stop spoiling all my goddamn good food names. Christy in the chat says, I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't get a Rice-A-Roni cameo in San Francisco. You have no idea the list of dumb villain names I've come up with for this.
Look, everyone likes a parting gift, Maybe they can have some when they leave.
It's a treat. So yeah, you run after Jay, Owen, and you see as the kind of skater tots start to kind of disperse from being thrown off, and as you kind of boulder through them, you also see that there is a orange figure off in the distance that looks like it's being carried away by a number of skater tots. And he's wearing a hockey helmet. Back to San Francisco.
Speaking gritty.
He's beloved, warrior. Beloved.
I was asking. I was in character.
Yes, you believe, for everybody at home, that is Gritty, the Philadelphia Flyers' most beloved mascot and nightmare fuel.
I don't even think I know what it looks like, and I'm okay not knowing.
Oh, well, you tell me what's going on as you realize what is happening to Cassidy. Do you recognize the sand witches coming up around you, or how are you reacting to them?
Yeah, I think I would notice them, I guess. So I turn around, I just kind of go like this, like, whoa. Hands in pockets.
Oh god, that is terrifying. Oh no.
It's pretty bad.
It's really
the
cute.
Phillies fanatic also.
The eyes go in.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to see everybody at the same time.
I guess.
I kind of like Gritty a lot, actually.
I like Rudy a lot. Genuinely upset at his abduction.
All right, so you tell the witches to stop, and they as they're like kind of coming in towards you slowly, like filtering through the sand, they just kind of stop, and then they do that kind of like putty thing where they like look at you and look at each other like, what is going on right now? Why are we stopping?
Which is when I kick one of them.
Okay. What happens when you kick them?
I mean, probably not a whole. I'm not. It's a slow kick.
Maybe it's very powerful. The eyes look a little better in that one.
Yeah. It's a slow kick. So you, as you kick it, you realize that your foot is just slowly going into the leg of the sandwich, and it begins to start pulling you down into the beach.
It's less than ideal.
Emmy, you have giant, very healthy sandwiches chasing you, and you've made it to the beach, and running across the boardwalk. Um, do you notice Cassidy?
Just for scale, how giant are the sandwiches?
They're roughly the size of a city bus.
Oh, they're much bigger than I planned. I think Emmy's gonna take a light turn, and she's gonna panic and hide. She's gonna feel the reacting power
All
because
right.
she's now seeing sandwiches and sandwiches and going, oh crap.
Um,
I feel like I'm being punished.
Emmy, you hide and you hear the sandwiches grind to a halt on the boardwalk um,
Grinders.
as they've lost sight of you, and therefore um, their primary food source has disappeared. Meanwhile, Cassidy, you are slowly, very, very slowly being dragged into the sand, and you see that these sandwiches have also started to try to grab people that were out kind of on the beach running from the large hoagies and pressed sandwiches that were chasing after Emmy. All right, Cassidy is just slowly being drawn down into the sand. Now mostly incapacitated, as we seen jump cut back to Philadelphia, where Jay is running after the general, and Owen has just seen Gritty being absconded with by a whole mess of skater tots.
So what you're saying is we're splitting the party more?
Dude,
I mean,
I'm offering up threads that you might follow or choose to elevate elevate the
uh,
narrative.
I'm gonna get this going. I'm gonna take a light turn. I'm gonna land. I'm gonna leap off the skater tot, and I like sort of kick flip it like into the side of the Chrysler building or whatever, and then land on the ground 3-point style. And I know that's in New York. It's a very good kick. And so then he will I'm gonna take a light turn, and I'm gonna be like Jay, in my hubris I have failed to protect Gritty, the most beloved entity in the entire city. I've put the lives of the many ahead of the lives of the mascot. I gotta go save him. He's the soul of this town. You handle this general on your own, or just sort of distract him a lot for a little while. Maybe get into some mortal peril, and I can come by later and I end this out.
Yeah, I'll
We just get
do my
into some
best to
mortal
grill him.
pair, so I could have a special turn.
Just a little peril, it's fine.
Yep. I mean, we can both special turn if that's the case.
Son of
Yeah, I'll do my best to griddle him in a little bit.
Right. All right. I feel good that I've interfered in this sensible course of action, and I'm going to go save Gritty.
Oh, God.
I'm going to run off.
All right,
And,
so you guys are like both running and talking to each other on the radios, and
oh, that's right. We got radio.
and well, I mean,
Talked
I'm
about this
assuming
in our
that you're
last
like
meeting.
running through the last staff meeting, the last wait staff meeting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you guys are kind of like talking and Jay, you keep running, and Owen, you peel off to go after Gritty. Jay, you see the general kind of running off in front of you. He notices you behind him and starts to fire off these kind of small, kind of ribbed looking spheres with small kind of green kind of coming out of the top, and these blossom into or maybe bloom into a string of onions that then kind of create tendrils that are kind of shooting at you to try to kind of bolo you up as you chase after him at high speed.
All right, so I'll try to use my banana ring to slice through those tendrils, but unfortunately I will fail to react effectively, and then I will take this token, and I will be caught up in the tendrils, kind of tied up now, if you will.
He you hear him like laugh, like kind of big belly laugh, and he says, "Ah, our plan is coming together, and the and and the minions of Stew and Beardon are helpless as they sit here and watch our culinary mayhem unfold." Jump cut. We see Owen now chasing after poor Gritty, who is being whisked away on a light sheen of oil that is dotting the streets of Philadelphia. Which, coincidentally, fun fact for everybody out there, their streets that are named after trees are all in order of density of the wood, because the city botanist that was helping lay the town out decided that that was a good idea. And let me tell you, when you try to figure out how these tree streets are ordered when you're walking around Philly for the first time, and you're like, is this alphabetical? No. Is this like coniferous and deciduous? No. This is, I don't know what's going on. I got
Destiny of foliage.
I
You
got
don't know the
to
denseness of the wood, James? I mean,
I got to a reception, and I was like, "Hey, can I ask you guys a question? How, is there any rhyme or reason to this?" And I shared that. They shared that with me, and I was like, "That's really awesome and confusing."
Did
So,
it make you want to leave town?
no, but it made me feel like I could put roots down there.
Okay, because it felt like it stumped you.
Oh,
I'm
tree
just
pun.
glad you decided to tough it out and, really branch out in your experiences.
Mhm.
All right, guys, we're really going out on the limb here. If we get back to the story.
Yes. Yes. Saturday morning
Listen to
cartoon
the big
madness.
bark on Nate.
Mm.
Oh, God. I've had
wow.
my chlorophyll of these jokes at this point.
Oh.
So.
I didn't expect anything less from this game.
Thought maybe it'd be all food puns, but no, we've got dumb tree jokes as well.
Reason there too. I love it.
All right. Owen, sorry I interrupted with my tree anecdote.
It's all right. I am doggedly pursuing Gritty and these potatoes, and I'm going to display reckless fighting technique. I am like jumping and parkouring off of everything. There's just like dents in every car roof blocks because I'm just jumping off of it, kicking up a building, flipping. I'm making up ground. It looks good, but yeah, it's gonna hurt a lot of people in the pocketbook. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. So yeah, as you are springing across to make up that very valuable distance, um, you see that some of these skater tots are attempting to rip Gritty's head off.
What?
Um,
You can't rip Gritty's head off.
it's a true story.
I admonished. Can't do that.
You also see that two of them are pulling at Gritty's skates, and they actually pull one of the skates off and leave it on the ground um, as they are slip sliding away.
That is insanely disrespectful. I'm going to reverently pick up Gritty's skate, and then I'm going to stop for a minute. I don't know, to make like a sort of like sort of pose because no one can see my face, and then it's like I got an idea, and I'm going to tie Gritty's skate to the end of my licorice rope, and then I'm gonna take action, leaving myself vulnerable. I'm solely focused on making sure that Gritty's head isn't ripped off here. So I'm going to like leap off uh, something tall,
The Chrysler
and like
Building.
a light post or whatever. I don't know, sure. And then like do a very cool like flip bullshit and like whip the skate out and like cut the potatoes that are holding the skater tots in half that are holding Gritty.
Nice.
But in an artful culinary way that they form the cuts are very uniform, and they create one of those like like when they stack fries all fancy, like like Jenga planks.
Yes.
And so Gritty has a soft landing on top of a Jenga plank of fries.
Nice. They all lay down in a beautiful potato masonry mishmash, appearing to be the finest mason's artisanal work, made completely of potato olays. And Gritty kind of falls on this beautiful blanket of starchy goodness, as um, the remaining skater tots explode into shreds of potato around you from the skate, carving them up. Jay, you're you're in trouble, buddy. Back to San Francisco.
You're not wrong.
Cassidy, you continue to nonchalantly be sucked underground, along with a number of the other.
Swear to God, I know where this is going, and I'm really excited about it.
I don't. So I'm going to use a regular turn to display an improvised fighting technique.
Okay.
Because Cassidy realizes that being quite pale, he can just turn the sandwiches into a castle.
Okay. So, tell me what happens then, Joel.
So I just scoop them up, and like you put them in the bucket.
He's like grabbing some kid's bucket that's like randomly sitting out there.
Yeah. And then like a little stick in top to be the flag.
The witches that have previously been dragging other people underground now leave them half buried in sand and begin to emerge towards you as they see their fellow beachy coven member being turned into a childless castle in front of them on the beach. Um, Emmy, you are hiding out. The sandwiches have not moved a great deal, but they have noticed the Muscle Beach um, fitness center that is just down from where you are hiding, where the dude bros and babes are not very interested in the sandwiches because ew, carbs. Um, but they are continuing to pump iron, and you see that the sandwiches have started to zero in on them and are now sliding down the boardwalk on a smooth sheen, similar to the skater tots of a completely cage-free uh, mayonnaise. It's completely organic, beautiful aioli, as it were.
Oh boy. Okay. She's not overly brave, but I think she is gonna have to take a regular turn and act as a decoy again. She's gonna jump out from where she's hiding, and she's gonna try to Pied Piper these sandwiches into the ocean to see if they can drown.
Okay. All right. The sandwiches turn to you, and they start to shoot pickled radish and daikon spears in your general direction. They are kind of littering the beach with this vegetable refuse, as it's taking everything in your kind of your unrangered power to jump out of the way of these. You're able to, for the most part, until a giant pickle is launched, a crisp disc. No floppy pickles. No, no, no. These are the nice, thick ones, the pickled chips, as it were, because just because these are giant floppy sandwiches doesn't mean that we have to settle for subpar pickled cucumbers. You know what I'm saying? Um, this one knocks you off your feet. You're like kind of dodging the spears, but one of them has like shot this pickle chip up, and you look, and it is coming down upon you, and it lands on top of you.
Oh no. How stuck am I?
You're pretty stuck.
You're in a
no.
pickle.
I'm in a pickle. This is a problem. I'm in a pickle. I'm gonna. Oh boy.
That's
I'm gonna have to transform. I'm gonna have to transform.
Oh yeah, it's cooking time.
Cooking time.
So tell me what it looks like when Emmy transforms. What her spice is, and what her deployment of the spice looks like.
I feel like her spice is the very standard. Can go with just about anything. Some parsley, some dried
Nice.
parsley, and so I'm gonna have to extract myself from the pickle. And I shake my spice in the air while I turn in a circle. I complete the circle. I got these
Awesome.
big, powerful floret fists now.
Nice. Beautiful. So yeah, you have transformed into your squad form, and are able to kind of see the kind of pickle explode out, and the sandwiches turn from their focus on Muscle Beach back towards you, as they recognize now they. Warrior. um, as they now realize that they are in distress. Um, Cassidy, you are surrounded by witches who are just slowly piling on top of you, with all of their sandy weight. You're slowly being dragged underneath the warm, the very warm, gritty embrace, but not that gritty, of the of the beach.
Speaking of a warm, gritty embrace, let's cut back to Owen.
I don't know who Tester is, but thank you very much. That's put us over $11,000
What?
raised.
That's
Holy
crazy.
cow.
How's
That's so
Nice.
crazy.
Insane.
Oh, thank you
Well,
Wow, thank you.
fun.
for everybody watching and everybody donating. This is the highest total we've ever raised. I think we've gone over. I think we're at almost $45,000 for our 7-year total. Unbelievable,
Man,
so good.
wow.
Um, yes,
Makes me happy.
yes. Cassidy, you're still in mortal danger, even though we're raising a lot of good money for kids.
You know, as long as it's helping the kids.
It's true.
I guess if I'm being buried, it's time to transform.
All right. So tell me, hey, the Lundersons. Thank you, Adam, Karen. I hope that the kids are well. I don't know if you guys are watching our ridiculous food-based Super Sentai, but I hope you're well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, this is unbelievable. It's so great. All right, so Cassidy, tell me what your transformation into the orange squad member looks like.
Um, so since my hand is already in my pocket, I've got access to the little mini spice rack, which in my case is filled with a powdered dark chocolate, because everybody knows dark chocolate and oranges.
No doubt.
So gross.
Really good.
You do not like dark chocolate and oranges, Joel?
I do not. My dad loves it, and I think it's horrific.
It's a good flavor combination.
So bad.
Maybe just had a shitty chocolate orange.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Because all the chocolate oranges I've had, I thought were shitty. So it could be that. Yeah. So he's gonna do that.
Got some self-hate going on there, Cassidy.
Huh?
It's like a self-hate thing, Cassidy. Like a big orange.
I mean, how do you improve on an orange?
So maybe just listen to what your subconscious is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Joel is punishing himself by both waking up early and playing an orange-based character that is combined with dark chocolate. Like, I did this because of you, Dad. I learned it from watching you.
I
woke up
deserve
early
this.
my
I
entire
deserve
life.
Oh God, it is a metaphor for life.
Terrible. Oh man, it's only Saturday morning.
Thought it was
a long day ahead of us.
I thought I was whole, but I just one light tap and I split into 12 even segments all over the floor.
One light tap and I split into 12 even segments all over. Oh my God! Stop
Oh
that.
God.
What's happening? Wow, is this your
What's
inner
going
inner turmoil?
Yeah, that was my inner turmoil.
Bursting forth. No, the earbuds have become untethered.
That's the remake we need. Yeah, but untethered.
You have become disconnected from this reality.
No one plays basketball anymore, but they play tetherball now. Remember tetherball? Nope.
He splits into segments that rotate, and when they come back together, he is in the Power Ranger form.
Dude, that's so good. Shit. I love these. This is like the thing I was waiting for, was for like you guys transforming in like all these amazing ways. That's so fun. Okay, so you do that. You kind of whip out and kind of cut through all of these sand witches, reconstitute yourself, and you're in your pose with your hands at your side, and like they explode behind you, and you just give like the little thumbs up. This is so stupid. I love this. We'll cut back. Jay, you're in trouble, baby.
It's true. I'm wrapped up in the onion strings.
Yeah, man. And they are slowly caramelizing around you.
Oh.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Smells so wonderful, but it feels awful.
They're also getting hotter and hotter.
All right. Technically, I haven't actually transformed yet, so I'm going to go ahead and spend a token to do that.
I like you're the only one with the transformer behind you.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us what it looks like.
So I will shake my little spice container loose, and it will kind of pour out. You will see like blue banana peels kind of wrapping around me, and then boom, I'm in my suit.
Nice. Do you like? Does the blue banana like shed all at once with like a big explosion, and you're like unpeeled, and you're like, I love it.
And I'm just sitting there, kind of hands or fists on my hips, waiting to go just attack General Patty Melt.
Patrick, please. Patty is his father. And so so you do that. The big blue banana inside of the onion strings explodes forward, and all of the caramelized onions um, go out, and you see the general kind of notice and turn around and says, "Finally, a challenge." Um, and he pulls out um, a gun and shoots molten magma cheese in your general direction. Um,
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because I just heard he pulls out that gun. I thought he was just gonna just cold like shoot.
And we're wrapping it up. We've passed our goal, and I'm tired. Didn't sleep much last night. We just cold cocked one of the
Like,
Super
this
Sentai
is
squad. Sorry.
this is getting brutal, raw, if you will. This is. Oof.
Yowza.
It's like I'm trying to sneak in that nap before I run the next thing.
Yo, I gotta play till 1 a.m. again, and I only have an hour break. Molten hot cheese sprays out of you, Jay.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a regular turn and react by taking temporary cover.
Nice.
So just behind the nearest parked car, I will hide myself, and I assume it'll be melted by cheese. So I'm just kind of sitting there behind a pile of melty, cheesy metal.
It slowly starts to eat away at the car that you have identified to hide behind. Owen, what's going on over by Gritty?
So I sort of undo his skate from my licorice whip. I hand back his skate. I'm like, here's your skate back, Gritty, big fan. I'm sorry it's got potatoes on it. That was avoidable, but I make mistakes sometimes. Look, you're safe now, and I'm very glad for that. But standing here, I realize that your rescue has come at the expense of my friend and the millions of people who live in this city that I've ignored to have such a laser focus on you. Gritty, I gotta ask, man. I'm in a bind here. I, what do I need to sacrifice in order to see this through? Gritty,
Um,
feel like this is a heavy turn I'm taking.
he he kind of looks at you, and he looks down the corridor, and then he looks at you, and he looks down at your licorice whip, and he kind of looks back, and he looks down at his skate, and he looks back, and then he shakes his head a little bit, and his eyes rattle, and he just goes,
Exactly what I needed to hear, Gritty. You really know the way to to a kid's heart, So all right, I'm gonna go now. And and again, big fan. I don't have anything. Will you sign my spice jar?
He reaches into his like big orange furry beard, and he pulls it out. He pulls out a giant marker, and he just signs across your chest.
Perfect, even better. It's great. It's black on black. You can really read that. And so Owen
No,
is
he
gonna.
he pulled out his silver one, his metallic one.
Oh,
So it just
fancy.
says
All right,
Gritty across
upgrade.
your chest now.
Perfect. All right. I got a new character trait now. So Owen, with his grittier outlook on life, is going to hear the cheese and metal melting in his in helmet earpiece, and he is going to uh, he's going to take action. He's going to leave himself vulnerable. He says, I got to get back. I got to get back to Jay. I'm going. He's just beeline. You know, it doesn't matter what's in between him and them. He's just going to get there.
All right. So you find yourself kind of running and kind of faster and faster in that kind of Super Sentai mode, and you're able to kind of turn around the corner and kind of like when the Flash is running super fast and just kind of skids into view, and the camera pans hard from behind you into your point of view, and you see Jay huddled behind a Subaru Outback that is slowly being eaten away by molten cheese. Also, some guy got shot right next to him that was also dressed in blue. I don't know what that's about. But you see General Patty Melt as it kind of does the hard, like, quick pan out to him, and you see him, like, just like laughing kind of moments after we left Jay. Um, Emmy, how are things going out in San Francisco?
Oh, things are going rough. But Emmy is going to take a move out of her friend Cassidy's playbook, and she is going to use an eccentric fighting technique, and she's going to start punting these sandwiches into the ocean, hoping there's a shark out there to take care of them for her.
That's beautiful.
For a second, I really thought you were going to say is going to gaze out and stare at the ocean.
That was also an option, but
I'm
she
just gonna
decided
zone
that
out,
the
y'all.
kicking technique is probably a little bit more efficient than the staring.
I mean,
I
maybe.
like that you put the shark in there. You're thinking about the cleanup as well as solving the
Yeah,
problem. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
I know there's gonna be at least one out there. So
That's why you're the Green Ranger.
she is just gonna start just kicking sandwiches as far as they can go into the water.
That's beautiful. All right, so you start kind of bounding about and kind of chopping and kicking pieces of this sandwich out. It's like a party tray of pulverizing mayhem on the beach. Um, they are kind of slowly kind of getting waterlogged and sinking. There's all sorts of vegetable accoutrement that are flying as we do this. It looks like when the Swedish chef makes a salad in the Muppets. It's just chop, 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 and things are flying all over there. There's like a randomly like a sheep that comes flying by, and there's kind of total mayhem. Cassidy, you have exploded all the sand witches, but now see that there are large sandwiches that are attacking Emmy as she attempts to get them out to sea. And it pans over to you where you are standing, and there's a good 10-second long pose with just you staring at this with your thumb in the air before it cuts to your inner monologue.
Okay, here goes my inner monologue.
I knew this was going so.
And after having had all that thought,
Yes.
Cassidy is going to, because Power Rangers don't walk anywhere, he's going to do a corkscrewing, flippy jump through the air.
All right. Love it.
And land in front of one of the sandwiches.
Okay.
The biggest one he can find, he's going to be like, is this really what you want? You are basically a walking hug. And between you and my aubergines, we could be best friends. But it's up to you to turn it around. And because he's a Power Ranger, even though it's him,
Yeah.
there's an inexplicable amount of hand gestures while he's saying this.
That makes me so happy.
But it's up to you to decide to help people instead of hurt people.
I love the entire like Super Sentai trope of like you like making these things, but the entire time you have like thumbs up.
And then it just ends with the dilapidated thumbs up.
And the big Cassidy lean. I love it. Um, Jay and Owen. Owen, you after the hard pan and the cut over to San Francisco, we cut back and it like cuts back to you with that like shaky cam, like super fast zoom, and you're like, Owen's back.
Owen's back.
And then Owen says, Owen's back.
Owen's back.
All right, so I'll put out my hand to have him
Back.
help me up after I'm laying behind this car.
I help Jay up, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna level with you. This feat is going to be so impressive that it's going to frighten you, but I gotta protect you, buddy. And Owen will lift the hot cheesy car, the Subaru Outback, just throw it right at the general.
Nice. All right. As it hurtles towards the general, he kind of looks at you and kind of he does like the big dynamic pose, and then he goes, no, and he like comes in like this and pushes out, and then puts his hands across his chest, and he like cuts himself in four, and then you see him kind of start to swirl around and come back together as a diamond shape, and he starts to grow and expand, and you realize that he is turning into the kind of the Mega Sentai version
Oh, man.
of himself. His
Oh.
edges get crispier. You see the cheese start to caramelize around his edges. The patty inside of the bread begins to enlarge and kind of spill out from the sides of the crust. Like this is the full on 4-star General Patrick Melt. Now it's
There's
party
only one
time.
thing for us to do.
Oh man,
Yes.
Jay, yeah, he's rapidly inflating like our foes tend to do at peak moments of combat. Can't believe it happened again. Owen will, he'll reach into his pocket. He's got pockets, and he'll pull out, like a tin of those like extraordinarily salty Icelandic licorice pastilles, and like toss a couple of them on the ground, and like an immense, beautiful tree, his Supazord grows out of the ground. Tree grows in Philly, and as it's like going up, there's like it rises up, and like a hatch opens, and he like gives a thumbs up, hops inside, and rises it all the way to the top. And he's like licorice sword, ready to go. Let's do this.
All right, and then Jay opens up his communicator. He's like, "Artie, can you send me the Zord?" So he's got his little banana phone communicator, and then down from the sky, you'll see his robot RT has sent the banana Zord to assist.
And so you hear server in your earpiece say, "Mamma mia, this is bananas." This is so dumb. This is Power Rangers on 3 hours of sleep. We're doing it, gang. We're really doing it. All right. So the you hear the kind of like big dramatic music as the general the general kind of turns around to face you and says, "Now you'll face the true power of Patrick Melt." And you guys do your like, ha, with your like weapons. And we're going to take a commercial break. What is the commercial for this show? What are we selling on Saturday morning? Well,
I
Subaru
feel like it would be
Outbacks.
a Ronco juicer of some type.
Yeah, sponsored by Carmen Miranda.
I was thinking breakfast cereal.
Oh yeah, what's our breakfast cereal that we're selling?
Think you need to go like super sugary, like something that's marshmallows on marshmallows.
It's vegetable shaped marshmallows.
Exactly.
Oh man. What else are we selling? What comes up? What's the show that comes on after the Food Squad Super Sentai Saturday morning super show?
That's a real good question.
The first answer that popped into my head is incredibly inappropriate now.
Oh no.
Because I was like, if it goes back to my childhood,
Yes.
it would have been like one of the last shows on Saturday morning was Fat Albert. So it'd be like, cut to Bill Cosby
Oh no.
for the kids.
Let's not do that.
No.
Yeah,
How
let's
about-
not do that.
How about an off-brand Transformers called the Wentbots?
I'm into it. I like it.
The Ben bots. We've been doing some stuff.
This 10-year-old gets jettisoned into space and has to capture as many different types of spacecraft as he can. It's rocket monsters.
Oh, that's good. Rockemon.
Rocketman.
Can we say that? I mean,
Sure. I don't think that's a real thing. Probably.
No, probably not. Yeah, no, it's not. I don't know. Yet.
Yet.
Hey, kids, have you ever wanted to be sued? Rockemon. I mean, Rockemon. Oh God. Oof. All right, so we hear about the upcoming Rockemon up next, and they're like, "Who's that Rockemon?" Definitely not on any sort of branded musical experience, and they're like, Moonstone, and they show a picture of Moonstone, and then we come back. Now more Super Sentai Saturday Morning Showdown, and you hear like the narrator, like when last we left the food rangers. Uh, Cassidy and Emmy found themselves in. See, I really wanted to do the Warrior City of Brotherly Love. Or the Windy City, San Francisco.
Oh God.
Let's found themselves in the
that
Windy
is-
City,
the
battling sandwiches left and right.
joke 4 people will understand.
On the San Francisco Bay. Will they leave their heart in San Francisco? And Jay and Owen are in Philly. In the town of brotherly love, will the love that they have for another be enough to defeat 4-star General Patrick Melt? Let's
Oh, is that
find
why he
out
split
now.
into 4? Because he's a 4-star. Okay.
And we know those aren't Michelin stars.
Oh,
No, you can't even have that many.
wow, that's hurtful, Nate. That's hurtful. All right, so we'll pop back in. We'll pop back into Owen and Jay. You've transformed into your. Oh no, Joel! Why would you put that in the chat? Why?
Because I won't say it out loud.
Okay.
Could have just not typed it out loud.
I didn't even think that it might be like cool to split back and forth, like breakout rooms split back and forth. I hadn't thought about that. Could have had different like background stuff.
Could have done it.
Yeah, well, could have done it.
Should have
Next
had
time.
the stickers.
Didn't do it.
Yeah, it's too early to stretch itself out like that.
Yeah.
If I had thought about it, I probably would have, but I didn't, so I haven't. Back to Jay and Owen. You are now in your giant food robot forms. The giant blue nanner and the uh, black licorice rope sword thing.
That is a very accurate description.
Mhm.
Excellent. So the four-star General Patrick Melt says, "You look like you're feeling kind of crummy," and he goes like this, and the kind of charred bits of the kind of toasted outer layer start to be kind of pulled away from him, and this giant cloud of charred crumbs comes flying, inundating both of your giant robot swords.
There's
Um,
like sparks are flying. There's
Yes.
smoke as we get like pelted by like large scale panko breadcrumbs. Oh man, can't take a lot more of this.
My robot eyes.
I always did love that. Like the Zords react like they're human. It's like, I can't see because something's in the eyes of this robot that probably has cameras instead of actual eyes.
That's why my robot doesn't have eyes.
Can't see if you can't see. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Owen like to be like, look, we I don't know if we can face one-on-one. We're gonna have to work together. So here, let me oblige myself to you. And he splits his as any good licorice rope can do. His Zord splits in two, sprouts a new pair of legs on the new one, and he's like, licorice rope, go. And so he stands on one side of the banana robot and like flings the rope over to the other half of his Zord and to create like a very tensile like slingshot-y rubber band situation. And he's like, it's like, you know what to do.
Are we getting a
Bananas.
giant robot banana fastball special?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of rear back and shoot myself toward the giant sandwich.
All right. You like a giant version of your banana rang, you are catapulted forward at supersonic speed, piercing and cutting, spinning back around in banana ring formation as you see the sparks fly and the giant general Patrick Melt begin to have giant kind of pieces of seared hamburger and cheese kind of explode off of him, and the crumbs just explode in a huge cloud of dust and rain down as you kind of boomerang or banana rang back over and are caught by the giant licorice Zord. And
I feel like there was like an overhead shot of this happening that looks nothing like Philadelphia.
yes. Like this looks vaguely like a giant box of cardboard boxes.
Is there a big red and white radio tower just in the middle of Philadelphia that I've never noticed before?
Does that building say Cheerios?
Wow, I didn't know Fujifilm had invested so heavily in Philadelphia. So you get like the big like Zord posing like, yeah, and we cut back to San Francisco. Um, what is happening in the action scene there?
I mean, I've just made my emotional plea to get one giant sandwich to change sides and help us out.
I'm sorry to say, but the giant sandwich seems unswayed by your request. It turns out that special orders do upset us.
I find that really disappointing because if it had, I could have achieved my task of helping defy expectations of who can be a hero.
God damn it, Joel. So- oh God. Why does this game not have more inspiration type things?
I don't know, but I don't know if I can do it, but I'm giving him one of my tokens.
Sure, give him a token.
Delightful.
He deserves it. God, defying expectations.
You
of
could
the
just give
hero.
yourself tokens. I've been doing it all game. That was a really good joke. Just enough
That was
tokens
so
for me.
good. Yeah.
It was a lot of setup. I knew I was, as soon as it was giant sandwiches, I was like, given my task, this is perfect. I can only get one sandwich to change sides.
Good.
Well, I'm not angry. I'm just really disappointed.
All right. You see that there begins to kind of be a lot of these giant pieces of sandwiches kind of floating out in the bay over to Sausalito, where you can find very finely cured meats. Check it out. Go across the bridge, but not necessarily that bridge. And
Yeah, I hear they use long pork.
They do, and it's nice. It's real nice. That's good. That should have been one of our one of our advertisements. I don't know, not a lot of kids maybe buying cured meats out there, but hey, for those that are, Sausalito meats, you'll like what you put in your mouth. Um, yeah. What? So the sandwich refuses to turn. Uh, Emmy, what are you? What's going on as you kind of are kicking the butts of these sandwiches?
Emmy is gonna look in Cassidy's direction and tell him, "Let us wrap this up." And she's gonna kick a sandwich at him, which is probably gonna more endanger him instead of accomplishing anything.
But let us wrap this up. You should take a token for that. I don't know what your your light turns are, but leaving yourself vulnerable to a food-based pun should be one for this. Oh goodness. Um, Cassidy, how do you react to this this prompt?
Whatever this was.
It was a thing.
Well, I guess if he's not gonna, choose the right path,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a very Power Rangery leap where it's more up
Mhm.
than like it looks like it would be going forward, but you just see straight up.
Yeah, that shot, iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And deliver the Superman punch.
Nice. So yeah, this last remaining giant piece of the not so party sub comes flying at you, and you leap up and then are suddenly somehow moving forward at a very rapid pace, and punch kind of straight through this thing, and you see your hand in kind of slow motion emerge out the other side, and the thumb pumps through, and we cut to the commercial. And when we come back from the commercial break, we are all back in your hometown. Where is your hometown? Where do you all live?
Feel like it's got to have a tree in it. You
Just
know,
one?
So we're in
like-
Brooklyn?
yeah, just got one tree.
A
Oh,
single.
so we live on a hill.
Yeah, a tree grew there.
Oh, boo.
I feel like it's where would we live in Minnesota? Maybe we live in Oakdale
Or Orange County.
or Orange County. That's technically a tree.
It's our show. Oakdale could be in Orange County.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll double it up on the tree references. Even
Yeah,
though
it's right
everyone's
by,
no one's gonna. Everyone thinks fruit when they think orange, but everyone forgets it grows on a tree.
at the old near Inver Grove Heights.
Yes.
Not too far from Pine Valley.
The city of Pantry.
Oh, that's so good.
That's good.
Pantry.
Into it.
Joel, take another token. I'm just gonna give out tokens when people do funny shit. I don't care.
Your game. Do what you want.
So you find yourself, or the kind of camera is cutting down the street, and you see one of you. You can choose who is kind of walking down the street with your book bag, and run into another one of you on the way to school the next morning. Who are our two players?
I feel like I would run into someone,
All right.
like literally by accident. Like got my
Not
headphones. I
paying
got my
attention.
headphones in. I'm not paying attention. I'm thinking about being gritty, and I just probably just literally run into someone.
Hey, you got your peanut butter on my chocolate.
What are you talking about? I'm too young to get that reference. Do people not just carry a open jar of peanut butter as they're walking to school in the morning? Is this something that's uncommon? Is this questioning my breakfast choices here?
No, just pointing out that it got on my chocolate.
Okay, well, I had some of the chocolate that got into my peanut butter. Those are two great tastes that taste great together, I gotta say. Can't believe no one thought of it until now.
The new thing. New fad.
Yep.
So amazing.
The jar, it's not like a plastic jar of peanut butter. It's like an old stone crock of peanut butter. It's like it's all like very like beautifully swirled on top. It's like, oh, my crock of peanut butter. Oh no.
Are you eating it or are you just carrying it?
I'm carrying it and eating it just as one does.
With a spoon, or you just like finger,
At the finger.
like scooping?
Not with chocolate. With my finger. Just
Chocolate, yeah.
Just having a couple fingers of peanut butter on my way to school.
As you do.
Uh-oh. We broke Warrior again.
I broke Nate. Nate being broken broke me.
How much peanut butter do you want? Just go with 2 fingers.
Yeah,
Two fingers.
That's how my dad likes his whiskey, by the finger, So that's where I learned it from.
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
I learned it from watching
you.
I can only eat my peanut butter in a rocks glass.
I'm gonna pee
It's
my
only
pants.
Saturday.
Yeah, I like that imagery. He's got like a rocks glass of peanut butter that he's dipping his fingers into on his way to school.
I just love the idea that he does it like his dad does it with the whiskey and goes like.
It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. It's too thick.
He's just walking down the street doing that, and that's how he runs into Cassie.
So on my way to school, having my thick whiskey.
Oh, a thick ski, baby.
Oh, you bumped in. His eyes are up.
It won't come out of the glass. Anyway, what's up? Aside from this meet cute we just had.
Not just really disappointed in sandwiches, man.
Yeah, did you have a bad sandwich or something? You go to
Oh, there were a lot of bad sandwiches.
Just like generally, I haven't talked to you since we split the party, so I don't. Did you?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
You guys could have spoken afterwards. It's just like the trope of the next morning debrief. I always find to be a
Was
good
this
one.
like a Jimmy John situation? Did you sacrifice quality to speed? Like what? I don't under.
I think that's accurate
Okay.
because when given a choice to do the right thing, an aubergine sandwich said no, which shows that it was not a quality sandwich.
I really thought you were gonna go like verbatim, like the hero thing again. Be like, well, I had the opportunity to prove that someone unlikely was a hero, but they failed.
Well, sometimes the sandwich is good, and sometimes someone stuck some onions in the middle of it, and you didn't even know about it. And you take a bite, you're like halfway through the sandwich, and you're like, "What is this? I don't want this."
Yeah, onions don't belong on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
They don't. They don't. I know this from experience.
And also, aubergine, really, your eggplant. Everybody knows your eggplant. Stop being pretentious.
Look, I feel like we've had this discussion about expanding our food vocabulary to include, kind of the words of you know, folks across the globe. We're a global protective force, so we need to be able to adapt how we're talking to be better understood. So I mean, I know you don't like the word aubergine, but I think courgette is much nicer than zucchini, honestly.
I would agree with that.
See, we'll get there. We'll
Yeah.
get there. Yeah. You got a math test today? Just I don't know, school stuff. We don't talk a lot casually, so you worried about the big math test?
So when they start talking about the math test,
I
it
feel like I
cuts
haven't gotten a prompt yet, so I'm just sort of spitballing here.
it cuts over to one of our other squad members who is sweeping up uh, for their boss, the sweet tooth manager Mike Martoni at Pop's Chocolate Shoppy, who helps them to source some of the rare ingredients for their changers. So one of the two of you has taken on a job there, helping out before school to get things ready for when the unwashed masses of children from the elementary school down the street come by after school lets out. So Emmy or Jay, who's going to be our chocolate shoppy attendant?
I feel like this is a very J job.
Yeah, Jay.
Well,
No,
all right
just
then.
like motivated to like do work before school. Emmy's just like rolling in like 2 minutes after the bell.
Does
Yeah,
sound like
Jay, you know what they put in ice cream? Bananas.
So I'm just thinking about banana splits,
you
cleaning up.
monster. Yeah.
I'm like on the way to school, I'm like texting Jay, I'm like chocolate plus peanut butter. Amazing.
And he's like peanut butter plus bananas.
The best.
Amazing.
Oh,
What
I
if
wish
it
I had
was chocolate, peanut butter, and bananas?
And then
I wish I had a
you see
Yeah,
Cassidy
yeah,
like lean
just
into the three do like a three-way call, and it's like, yeah, but also
slam cut to Owen just fainting. Just
oh.
passes out.
if only I had a crock of peanut butter right now.
All right, all I got is a rock.
You notice that there is a large crock of the artisanal peanut butter that Mike Martoni uses for all of his Martoni peanut butter bricks behind there. They're like cups, only they're shaped like small masonry units.
Hey, Mr. Martoni, I've got an idea for a new menu item. And I'll pitch the chocolate peanut butter banana. Get the
Jay,
banana, you put the peanut butter on it, and you cover it in chocolate and freeze it.
I always thought that there was so much more to you than just the kid who comes in here and cleans up. You ever thought about running a chocolate shop when you get older?
Thanks, Mr. Martoni. That sounds great.
Oh man, you know who would be proud of you? Pop. Pop would be proud of you. Oh,
Hey,
from
Dad,
the
in
time
general.
that he started this chocolate shoppy, back when we were just a tiny little village before Pantry really, you know, really grew up into the blossoming burg that it is today. Ah, Poppy, and he looks up on the wall, and there's a picture framed of a very kind of like stout looking dude with a very long beard and a shorn head, and he's standing there with like a nice shopkeeper's robe on, um, and it says "Pop." Nailed it. I don't want a frozen chocolate peanut butter banana now, but would like a non-frozen one later. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know why I don't put more Mitch Hedberg joke characters into RPGs.
Should
I've,
put more in.
of all of the things that I remember, I feel like I could pull off that bit for a very long time. Um, all right. We cut to another commercial and come back, and it's completely black, and you start hearing this map, 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 and then it like pauses, and then it says 5 minutes later, and it map, 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 and it cuts back 10 minutes later, map, 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 map. And then it like comes back to life with a wash cut down of Emmy slamming her hand down and looking at the clock and realizing that she is late.
So Emmy.
She runs very fast.
Are we talking using your Food Ranger power fast?
I mean,
Are
yeah,
you at
she's gonna
risk of
use
endangering your special identity?
she will use it more often than she would care to admit because she's running behind. So she's grabbing her stuff. She's that person that's like one arm in a sweater and the rest of it like trailing behind her.
Nice.
Gotta get out the door.
Um,
Here I was seeing both arms behind her, just Narita running.
Oh, that'd be good too.
um,
It's
so
one arm and then one sweater arm just flapping.
beautiful. As you're running to school, you hear your alarm go off. What is the alarm on your phone for a text message sound like?
It's just the knocking sound.
So
Someone's knocking on a door.
you hear the knocking sound go off as you are running to school.
Oh boy. Juggle things and try to pull out my phone.
You
Check my messages.
see that your one of your best friends, Zephyr Sora, is going. Zephyr is the first name. Sora is the last name. She's not a Dino World character. Um, um,
Could have been. You
could
could
have
have
been.
could
Still
have.
could be. Reach out to Zach. Let him know for the encore tonight. Um, Zephyr is one of your best friends. She's an esports gamer, and she competes in cooking themed video games. Um,
Whoa.
so she is a huge fan of the Food Rangers, but does not know your secret identity. And she sends you a text that is just all emojis with a clock, a thinking face, a large explosion, and then the grumpy, tired face. Um, and then after it, just like a single question mark.
I'm gonna text her back because I know she's not a morning person either.
Mm.
Uh, I'm gonna text her back just the coffee symbol and an X and a 2, and I'm gonna swing by the coffee shop on my way.
uh,
Because you know what? I'm already late. I might as well be more late with coffee.
you receive the like emoji with the like three hearts over the smiling face, and then the sleeping emoji, and then the like wide awake like giant eye emoji with the and then THX. So you swing by the coffee shop. There is a student who used to go to your high school that works there that you have had a crush on for quite some time, but you don't know why they left high school. But they're working when you stop to pick up your coffees, and they're very sweet. Could you? I don't think coach them up is for us.
What was that?
Someone just made a donation and it says coach him up. I was like, I don't think that's us. I think that's the Dave Wonder stream, or it could be. It is past 9 o'clock, so Matthew W. David also streaming on twitch.tv/Matthew W. David. Yeah, what's the name of your crush, Emmy?
Frank.
Frank. Oh,
Just
Frank.
Frank.
What a fine kid. What a sweetheart. What an absolute sweetheart. So yeah, Frank says like, "Oh, hey, Emmy, I didn't see you there. I've got these coffees for you. Oh, is that you? I didn't even notice. I hadn't recognized your voice because I hadn't seen you in a while. Where you been?"
Oh, school stuff. Just tries to be like real cool, just super casual, just like just hanging out.
Hmm. Well, we're doing a promotion this week where if you try one of our new pastries and submit feedback within 3 days, you could get free pastry the next time you come in with purchase of a drink.
I mean, do I submit feedback to you? I could come back later and we could talk about it.
Yeah, there's also a code that you can enter. But yeah, I'd love to hear. And he like holds out a bag and says, "Okay, I gotta take this." And he's like, welcome to Bean Juice. This is Frank. How can I help you?" Um, and he's back at it in his little drive-through coffee
I put a
hut.
$1 tip in the jar because Emmy thinks that's a lot.
Nice. Excellent. So you open it up, and this is a really nice looking. Tart. Inside is the receipt with the code, and underneath the code are them digits.
Yeah,
Frank. Meh, 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 meh. Chia.
got them digits. I got them digits.
You're doing that outside of the window so you can
Oh yeah,
totally see it.
outside the window where he can see me. I'm like, yeah, digits. I'm so late by now.
You
He
get
just holds a receipt up to the window that says, "Do you like apples?"
how about them apples? You get another text from Zephyr, and it's just like an entire wall of sleepy emojis, and then the dead skull face.
I send the running one.
All
Dead
right.
move. And I'm off. Gotta get there.
Nope. Owen handed the copies and then also handed a bag. The copies were not also in the bag. Although I thought about that, I was like, how am I going to get
Would be
this
really funny
phone
if you had
number?
done that.
I mean, if you order McDonald's food, they put drink carriers in the bag.
Mm,
Could be like that.
could just be in there.
It was just a funny visual to me.
No, it was great. I thought of the
It's the
exact
coffee
same
dripping
thing.
out.
Here on this sleep-deprived morning, I just thought it was a funny visual.
I
It
like
was.
it.
It was
There's a
funny.
couple of hot coffees in a paper bag for
Hey, hot coffee in a bag coming your way,
That's it.
courtesy of Frank.
It's exactly what I want.
The old
every
pantry
morning.
special. Couple of hot coffees in a paper bag.
Oh man.
That's okay. I put those little plastic sticks in them so they don't drip out the treacle.
Okay, so
Is that the name of the coffee shop? Can the coffee shop be called the Drink Hole?
The drink hole.
I think I called it bean juice, but the drink hole is totally fine. Yeah,
Perfect. Great.
I think it's bean juice : the drink hole.
yeah, that's amazing.
Longest
Bean-
name ever.
Bean Juice, FKA.
Just
Feel
don't
like
say it 3 times.
it got bought from the previous owner, but everybody still calls it the drink hole, even though
Right.
it
Yeah.
was bought out by Bean Juice,
Mhm.
which in this world is like the Starbucks of everything.
Owen walks by. He's like, "I'll never call you Bean Juice."
And it's
Flips-
like, wait,
Flips
what are
the
you
bird to
doing
this
here?
inanimate coffee shop. Everyone inside is very confused.
What?
I have really strong feelings about the name.
Becky's there just sipping on her latte, being like, this is a gift.
Owen's such-
This tastes the same as it does in San Francisco. Okay, so Cassidy and Owen, you've kind of made it to class on time.
Sure.
Emmy,
Peanut butter. I've cursed out the bean juice.
Did all your morning steps.
Yep.
you wait outside of the classroom until Zephyr gives you the okay, and then
Yep.
slide into your class with the 2 hot coffees in a bag, and try to kind of communicate with her some of your excitement about what's happened. Um,
I do the dances she knows.
yeah. The teacher kind of turns around and says, Emerald, is there something that you'd like to share with the class? Or perhaps you've brought coffee for everyone?
Ooh.
Not today, but I was planning on it one day this week. She won't do it.
Well, if it's going to take even more of our time together here, perhaps you could consider waking up earlier. And you see the 2 like bullies in the back doing the same warrior bit. Ooh. Um, cut to lunchtime, and we see the food squad all back together in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
Oh,
between I text Debbie like, sorry for the ooze in class, and then the next text is chocolate X peanut butter equals wow.
so you guys all run into each other. You come into the cafeteria, and you realize that your 5th member of your squad is still absent.
Where's this 5th member of our squad? I feel
That's a good question.
feel like we're running at about 80% here. Doesn't feel good.
Just
Do we need to do a missing persons report?
I don't know. Do you want to talk to the police voluntarily? I don't.
I mean,
That's true.
maybe we should check with Beard on.
Beardon does know everything.
Text Beard on chocolate plus peanut butter equals wow. And then
And also,
and then I say, where
he texts you
Then I
back.
say- then I say,
know
if-
there is a reason that I chose you, Black Ranger.
I text back, I'm your favorite. And then he texts back, then he texts another text that says, where's number 5?
My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid who's going with the girl who saw the 5th Ranger pass out at 31 Flavors last night. I guess it's pretty serious.
Wow,
Okay.
does she have an ice cream addiction?
Maybe she passed out from a brain freeze. It was a lethal brain freeze.
Oh, snap.
Oh no.
What?
Maybe she's in the hospital.
I mean, maybe just blowing off school for a couple of days. Like those feel like very drastic, sort of course of action. I don't know. Just saying it could be anything.
My next door neighbor is vacuuming, and it's literally so loud I can hear it through my earphones.
We cannot hear it.
That
Yeah,
That's
we
good.
sucks.
can't hear it. So
I'm very happy because I thought my laptop was taking off, like the
No.
fan was like going crazy. No, just
Sorry, Beard. That sucks.
wait, if you can hear them vacuum, does that mean if you have like a singing fest that they can hear you singing?
oh, I'm sure she will
What
not
if they
consider
have a
one of her.
Flowbee and they're just giving each other haircuts?
Oh,
That could be. I mean, I'm not sure.
That could be
Flowbee.
an excellent commercial for our show.
Flowbee's back. For some of us, Flowbee never.
All right. That's the jingle. It's the tune of Backstreet's Back, and it's just Warrior and Hubbeats on screen, like cutting each other's hair,
Flow being each
and
other's hair.
Beer just flowing. Oh gosh.
hey, don't call it a comeback.
Ah. It cuts to the guy named Pop, and there's like a voiceover that's like, since the founding fathers of Pantry created Pop's Chocolate Shop, we've been using Flowbee, the official barber of Pantry. Pantry loves its Flowbee. Flowbee's back. All right, and then we cut back. And I think that I would like to enter the kind of PSA section of our episode. We've discussed a potential PSA for a number of things why our fifth ranger is out, but I'd like each of you to make a pitch for what the PSA should be about why our fifth ranger is out. So whoever would like to start can go, and we'll hop in from there. So it can be any affliction, anything that you'd like it to be, so long as it is a creative reason why we are missing a fifth ranger for this episode.
Sure, I'll go. PSA. When we're out fighting intergalactic food crimes, we powered rangers wear masks to protect ourselves. Fortunately, only 4 of us do that. One of us didn't mask up. They got hurt real bad. That's right, kids. Mask up, or you'll be down with the sickness. Wah!
God damn it!
Oh,
Did you just
yeah.
Oh, that was glorious.
Oh goodness.
That was good.
The
Okay.
kids.
Next potential.
The kids these days know that song.
Yeah, all the time. Next potential PSA. Who's up?
All right, so it'll zoom in on Jay working at the shop, just kind of sweeping up. Talked about some serious things here, kids. But one thing you need to remember: you got to be safe, take things slow, and don't eat too much ice cream at once. Gives you a headache.
I like that. That's very wholesome.
That was very wholesome.
Chocolate
Jay.
peanut butter, kids. Get into it.
I
Don't do drugs.
love that that's like the alternate one. It's just like, sometimes we think that things that are different can't get along. But have you ever tried it?
Sometimes 2 great tastes taste great together.
It just like shows you guys running into each other and like being angry and then being like, oh, no, actually, we're best friends.
I had this dumb visual when we got to class that like I thought the teacher was gonna be like, you can't have your peanut butter in here, Owen. And he was gonna be like, all right, I'll throw it away. And he like just flings it at the trash can and like the glass like breaks when it hits the wall.
Oh no.
Falls out into the trash can. But it's fine.
Womp womp. All right. Cassandra, Joel, any thoughts? PSA?
We fought a giant sandwich, and it had the chance to become a hero. Chose not to. It doesn't mean that you can't be a hero. Just means it helps if there are meatballs.
And then in the background, there's an off-brand "Wind Beneath My Wings" playing.
Oh my god, I love it. Cassandra, thoughts for a PSA?
Yeah, nothing. Those are glorious.
All right. So we leave our episode on the cliffhanger of what has happened to the Fifth Ranger. The choose your own adventure. Could it be the option of considering whether the hero's journey is for her? Could it be the PSA about
Pulling up on ice cream. She's been abducted by an ice cream monster that just won't stop feeding her ice cream.
See, I feel like Emmy's PSA would be something along the lines of like, don't self-perm, and that she's, just
I'm into it.
hiding out because it turned out real bad.
I like
So
that.
you always seek a professional when it comes to perms.
There's like it like starts like an info where it's like she's like has these these visions of like her with a nice perm, and then it like she's like trying to do it. She rolls up the hair, and then like smoke comes out, and the screen turns black and white. And she's like,
That's it. That's exactly it. There you go.
pork chop sandwiches? Oh shit, we gotta get out of here. Don't let this happen to you.
Don't let it happen to you. Always seek professional assistance.
Oh, beautiful. So we have a kind of variety of these PSAs. So the other thing that I want to do is have everybody share the tasks that they accomplished or any special turns that they experienced. So if we just want to go around and share, starting with Cassandra, any tasks or kind of special turns that you experienced during the episode.
I kind of was focusing on two special tasks that I thought went really well together, and I thought very much summed up Emmy. And it was throwing inexperience or ineptitude at a problem to see what sticks.
Nice.
I'm gonna leave the sandwiches. I'm gonna kick the sandwiches. Something. And then approach the right thing to do from the wrong way, which was definitely kicking sandwiches in every direction. Not really caring where they went. She just was gonna take care of them.
Hell yes. All right, Nate, Jay.
I guess we proved that brain trumps brawn with the little banana slingshot move.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nobody would have thought black licorice and banana goes together, but hey, baby.
I actually
Just
have
the Zords.
some little black licorice banana candies. They're like shaped like little like monkey heads. They're really good.
Really?
Oh,
It's actually really good. It's a
Weird.
good combination.
That's
I'm
amazing.
intrigued.
So just saying, culinarily, it kind of works in a weird way.
Also, Nate fulfilled the Mitch Hedberg joke of blue
Those are
banana
good.
means where the hell did you get that banana at? Which is one of my conditions for victory. Warrior, how about you? How did Owen do on tasks and?
I think his tasks went pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely showed my strength a number of times throughout the episode. I defended those that I care about at any cost. I saved Gritty at the cost of at least hundreds of lives, probably. Like so many people died just so I could save that mascot. I was
And
not
the
paying
cost
attention to the
of
city at
cleaning
all.
up your suit.
Well, I ain't never washing that.
I was hoping that's what you'd say.
I feel like I count it perhaps in concert with Jay's assertion. I believe that I proved that brawn trumps brains. I fucked up a lot of potatoes that episode. They got messed up real bad, brawn wise. And although I did oblige myself to Jay by being the slingshot portion. I was sort of the support position there. And it's even if you will let them down, and although it was successful, I never tried that before. That could have gone horribly wrong.
True story. And Joel, Casty.
Well, I mean, clearly, defy expectations of who can be a hero. It didn't work out with the sandwich.
But maybe it worked out with you.
I think I involved the community or setting in a new way. Because I did try to make the sandwich part of the community.
You did. You tried castling it up.
Yeah. And I think I explored humor and the momentary spotlight.
Also very true.
Mm-hmm.
And special turn actually happened really early on.
Yeah.
Because special turn is when a color treats you like you're an important member of the squad.
Aw. When did that happen?
Ryan made a comment right at the beginning.
He said, "You are an important member of our squad."
I probably did say it that way.
Pretty much. It was like because it was something like, though I value orange, I'm gonna go with blue. Something like that. It wasn't big, but it was an expression of value. Still counts.
It's a true story. So then the other thing that we need to do is we need to vote on who kind of accomplished the essence of their color ranger the most. So if everybody wants to put an F in chat, or if we just want to go around and say who they thought was the kind of most essential version of that color, or if you'd like to send it to me privately, I can just read off the votes. So if you want to send a private chat through the Zoom.
Sure. Let's do a secret ballot. That's a good team dynamic. All right.
Well,
so
we're not
putting in who we're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thank you for the F's in chat. I appreciate that as well.
I mean, that was on there before you even finished the sentence, honestly.
It's ready. Ready.
All right. We have, with one vote each, Emmy and Jay, and with 2 votes, the most essential version of their ranger, we have Owen, the Black Food Ranger.
Sure. See, people like black licorice a lot more than they pretend like they don't. Everyone's like, "Oh, gross, black licorice," and they're like, "I actually like it."
Or they just feel like Ryan was the embodiment of that thing that everybody's like, I don't know about that, but I guess it's an acquired taste, and if you do, you like it. I don't know.
I mean,
you'll know if it's for you.
I mean, you start with the red licorice, you start with the Twizzlers, but it's like they say: once you go black, never go back.
God damn it, Joel. So,
I mean, that's about licorice, right?
Yes, it's about licorice.
You're saying about licorice.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
So this means that Ryan, you can take a raise, and you can take either the raise for your particular Sentai, which is you are without a doubt smarter than you look in your own way. No one will sell you short when you solve problems forcefully. Or you can take either of the 2 kind of generic raises, which is your suit, weapon, or mech become undeniably better. Describe how. Start each episode with a token from now on. Or, this might be a little premature if we were to play this again, retire your character, swap powers with someone, lose your powers, step down, or disappear. Describe what
happens.
I
invented chocolate and peanut butter. I am out of here. I'm gonna go be a billionaire.
I'm buying out Pops.
No, I'll do the yeah. I'm without a doubt smarter than I look. I did invent chocolate plus peanut butter. No one's gonna sell myself. No one's gonna sell me short when I solve problems forcefully from here on out. Like I wouldn't stop smashing stuff and be like, "This is how we do it."
This is how we do it.
He might show up later.
Really?
Oh.
Nah, that's not the name I picked, but I hope so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's possible. We don't know.
You never know. So that is Henshin Super Sentai. We were the food squad. All of our best to Cassie, our actual fifth ranger, who is out. Joking
Rude.
aside, please mask up. Please be careful. Please support each other. And
Don't be down
hey,
with the sickness.
kiddos, we are not done with sickness. Kiddos can get their vaccine now as well. So if you got kiddos, go out there, protect all the other kiddos. And while you're here, I thought maybe we could just go through what everybody's playing in for the rest of this, and share if there's one that you want to point out to everybody while I go through, and I put everybody's donation links again in the chat. So we'll start. Let's go reverse order this time. We'll start with Joel.
Wow. What have I got coming up? In a little bit at about noon, Favorite Enemy, where I will be playing the half-elf bard warlock Elvish Freshly. So that should be a really good time. Looking forward to that. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, I will be playing an invitation where what's his name? I don't know his name. I know his last name is Lurk, but it's been spelled with an umlaut.
Oh, is that the Zoom murder mystery?
It's the Ravenloft.
Oh no, that's Ben's game. Yeah,
Yeah.
the D&D horror survivor.
Oh yeah, the Survivor game. Yeah.
Very
And
nice.
I'm looking forward to being an utter coward in that.
Wait, are you a cow person?
Yes.
You're welcome, kids. Don't forget, punish your friends at any opportunity.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Very excited.
Wow, Nate.
Labyrinth game tomorrow morning will be a ton of fun.
Awesome. All right, so Nate.
Well, we'll just focus on today. Like Joel, I'm also in Favorite Enemy. I'm playing a bard slash barbarian. That'll be fun. He's got a nice little upright base great club. So it should be a smashing good time. Yes. And I'm also in an invitation. I am playing a gentleman named Tobias Kramer, also with umlauts, because why not?
Feel so left out of the umlaut part.
I mean, you guys, you could have been a band for Favorite Emery, the favorite. Okay, I'm done. Moving on.
Just a band
Cassandra.
called umlaut.
Yeah,
Well,
like say it
also-
umlaut or something like that.
Yeah, we call ourselves Denver Umlaut.
Oh my god. I just realized we're going from Flavored Enemy to Favorite Enemy.
Oh man, that would have caused confusion on the schedule, but I wish now that I would have called it Flavored Enemy.
Mhm.
All right, and then my last game tonight will be The Secret of the Chronograph. So we're playing a little Tales from the Loop. I will be playing. Where did that go? Oh, Benji. Ball Return. I forget his last name, but he's a four-square champion jock.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good time.
Cassandra, last but not least.
Oh, I am always nervously running a game at 2 o'clock. Got a good idea I've been wanting to do for like a year, so should be real fun to watch. No spoilers, so I can't say anything yet. Afterwards, all I want, nothing yet. I will also be playing an invitation later, playing a Laura Blackhilt. She is a former weapons maker turned seamstress. Good times there. And I'm playing in Secret of the Chronograph tonight too. Crystal, what did I say? Crystal Frederick. Crystal with the K. Crystal Frederick. She's got real heavy Madonna vibes, so she's a popular kid, but like the everyone likes kind of popular kid. So
Not the shitty little.
not the shitty little popular kids. The everyone likes popular kid. She knows everybody. She knows all the little secrets.
Awesome. And I'm James. I'm going to be playing, well, I'm going to be running Favored Enemy, following this Flavored Enemy adventure from 12 to 4, as the Favored Enemy band attempts to rock its way out of this one guitar town, and out onto the scene. After that, I believe I'm playing Basic Witches. I'll be playing Persephone L. She's anything but basic. So come hang out with us as Lady Christie DMs that one on the Lady Christie channel. After that, I think I have a 1 hour break in which I will eat food or, I don't know, sleep. And then I am going to be playing in also Lady Christie's murder mystery, The Murder at Merkister Hall. I will be playing Brigadier Balderdash. Very excited to enjoy a wonderful evening of dining and disaster with my lovely wife, Carlotta. And then afterwards, I will also be playing Tales from the Loop. I'll be playing Harvey Boy Evans. He's a bookworm. He has a twin sister, and she's super old, and she acts like it. She was born 2 minutes and 13 seconds before I was. And then tomorrow I will be getting up. I think I'm gonna probably like stream some Minecraft or something in the morning before I play in How the Lich Stole Christmas. I haven't figured out what I'm playing for that yet, but it's down to a couple builds. One that's based on Buddy the Elf, which I'm pretty excited. One that's based on Jimmy Stewart's character um, from the classic Christmas film, dude, George Bailey. And then I spent way too much time watching George Bailey clips. Um, and then the other had three potentials. I started making D&D Beyond, but I haven't decided what I'm going to play yet. They're all going to be dumb, as usual. And then I'll get to play in one more Ben game tomorrow, which is going to be a Star Wars game powered by the Apocalypse. If you haven't seen the latest trilogy, it's going to be running overnight. All three episodes on this channel, Known World United, starting after the chronograph Tales from the Loop game. So check that out. If you're up early or up late, you can catch the replay featuring Matt Lind, Shannon Townsend, Ben Amin, our good King Ginger, and more. Yeah, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up with some Jackbox if Jackbox is cooperating, because I didn't sign up for a late game. Wasn't sure kind of what was going on there, but I figure, hey, you know what we can earn a lot of money doing? Stupid stuff on Jackbox. So
It's true.
so stay tuned here to twitch.tv/Known World United. You'll get to enjoy the lovely Cassandra DMing her also culinary based treat, perhaps more flavored enemies. And then I will be hopping over to the twitch.tv/Heel Turn Radio channel. You can check out all of our games and our schedules with the link in the chat to our team, the Known World United. Thank you to everybody who has donated, hung out, watched the stream. We're up to $11,468, our highest total
Wild.
ever, and we're only a little bit into Saturday. So go out there, support all of these wonderful players. They food rangered their hearts out. So, get hungry and raise funds for Gillette Children's Specialty Healthcare as part of Extra Life 2021. And we'll see you on the next game. Bye.